All right, everybody, welcome in another episode of Third and Teal, connected to the Curtis Podcast Network. We do have a couple other podcasts that go over some other teams that suck in our division. Y'all can look them up on your own time. I do have to shout them out, though. Not going to give you the name because I don't really care. Just kidding. We got the Real Texas Team. We got Unstable, the trademark by me. Hate the team, but I come up with good names, so we're cool. We got Titans takeaways. With that being said, as always, at this point, we are now on episode 4. Trevor's still here. How you doing, Trevor?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. We're still doing Jaguars football, and the channel is booming. I'm very happy to see it. We're doing very well for a new channel. We were just discussing that a little bit ago. I'm really happy to have some of you guys coming back. I hope you guys keep coming back, keep watching the shorts, keep telling your friends. We're going to keep sharing, do your part. Make sure that these other teams know that Duval's where it's at.
Heck yeah, dude. Thank you, Trevor. And Mr. Talk, Mr. Eric, you're back again. As always, we got, again, you guys are here. You're here to stay, it seems. What's going on, Eric?
Duval! That's what's going on.
There we go.
That's what's going on.
That's what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the other teams in the division. We're going to try and not rag on them too much, evaluate some moves they made in the offseason. Talk about that compared to what Jacksonville did, maybe give a little insight on how we think we're going to match up against those players now. Potentially, if we might struggle, who we think we're going to do well against. I think that it's only right that we start with the only other team that actually got better this offseason with the Texans. They had a big free agency. They signed a couple guys. I know we were going forward to Neil Hunter. We've been tied to him multiple times. They traded for Stephon Diggs. They made some big moves in this free agency window, this offseason so far. What do you guys think that the biggest threat that they brought in this offseason or change is going to be?
It's got to be it's got to be Danielle Hunter. I mean, you think C.J. Stroud, it's going to take a while to get used to a caliber Stephon Diggs. And we got to see if Stephon Diggs is still that guy, because I will say this. The Bills have struggled lately with Stephon Diggs on the field. Okay, so we are still talking about, as Eric, we were having a conversation earlier. Eric pointed out he's older now. He's 31 years old, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's 31. Right. So, they pick up a 31-year-old receiver, but I think the biggest thing it's going to be is now they have Will Anderson Jr. off one edge, and they're going to send Danielle Hunter off the other. I think that's the biggest thing, and I think another reason that it makes it the biggest, most explosive piece for them is that they picked up Danico Autry, who will also be in the center of the line causing problems. I think with that being said, that's got to be their biggest piece, because they weren't really hurting at wide receiver with, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. They weren't hurting. They just went and got somebody. I think it's hard to say why they picked up Stephon, honestly, because, like I said, Stephon's not like the explosive, blow the game open receiver anymore. Now, who knows? He may have a career resurgence over here. That could be seen, but just as of right now, I don't see any reason that he would be the most explosive.
You know what, Trevor? I have to agree with you. The defense, their defense has gotten definitely better. And don't forget, they got the guy Futu, from us too. So they definitely beefed up their defense. As far as Diggs, okay, it's a good sign. I guess bringing a veteran, the mentor the young receivers. However, I'm kind of leery of that, and it doesn't worry me as much because of his antics and his attitude. His attitude. He can be overbearing at times, and that could get old real quick in a locker room, especially when you're the
new guy.
Yeah, you have a very young team in Houston now, so that could really wear old real fast, especially with a head coach like they have. So I think defense is, their defense did definitely get better. And I think that worries me more than anything, especially if we do not fix our offensive line. That can be a big problem You know, the 2 times we do have to face them, or the 3 times when we both make the playoffs, either or. You know,
for sure.
Yeah, that is what bothers me more.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say that me personally, I would say Daniil Hunter is going to be what hurts me on terms of looking at that new defensive line. Replacing Jonathan Grenard with Daniil Hunter, big upgrade. Grenard's a little younger, but he's been hurt. He had his best season last year for the Texans, but Daniil Hunter is just an instant upgrade. Great dude. He's getting a little up there, but I know they didn't really sign him to a long-term deal, so that's all right. Kind of one of the things to notice is that they brought in a lot of, old in the football game talent for their positions. But I would say that Daniil Hunter for me is going to be the biggest one because, we struggled really bad against running the football against some defensive lines. Travis Etienne was the most hit player in the backfield. It's never a good stat to have. Never good to be that guy. I do think that us bolstering up Mitch Morse in the middle just instantly upgrades everybody on the O-line compared to a center that gets pushed back 3 yards into the backfield on the goal line, or steps on other people's shoes or pushes them over, blocks the wrong way, bumps into people. Big upgrade there, but it's still going to be tough. Seeing Cam Robinson and Cam Robinson go up against him, and then William Anderson Jr. going after Anton Harrison, and then them switching up, it's going to be a big rush on both sides. So it'll be interesting to see it. Even if he moves inside a little bit, it's still a big guy that can take snaps in different spots and really wreak havoc in the backfield.
I think Anton Harrison can handle Will Anderson Jr., though. We saw that. I think Anton's going to handle him. I think one thing I did want to point out, too, and I got to say this to every one of you Texans fans because you are my most hated. I hate you guys, okay? I got to say this, okay? Don't think that just because your whole team was completely revamped last year that meant you were elite. It meant there was no tape on you. You had a complete coaching change and a complete staff change at all the major key positions, okay? You completely did an overhaul, which congratulations, complete overhaul. Good job. Now everybody knows what you do. We all know what you do. And then look what happened to you when you lost your star receiver. CJ Stroud got the shit kicked out of him because he couldn't get rid of the ball because there was no one else to throw it to, okay? And then you think about it. You added another old receiver along with Nico Collins. Nico Collins is still good, but he can't do it by himself. So you really all I'm really getting at here is don't think you've run away with the division because you did well last year and you added some good pieces this year. The big thing that you guys should really take away from this is we have tape on you now. The whole league has tape on you now. Right. We know what you like to do. We know your tendencies. So what you better pray for is that those silly deep shots that no one was used to Houston running, you better hope that no one gets used to it again. Like you better hope that we just didn't pick up on it. Because if that's not the case, you're going to have to revamp your whole offensive scheme again because that's all you had. Was when Tank Dell or Nico Collins just slipped behind a safety and no one really paid attention because it's never been the Texans to do so.
Right.
And that's all I had to say. I just wanted to make sure that Texans fans don't think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
No, absolutely. I still hate Titans fans more.
Me too.
I'll always hate Titans fans more. But they've definitely been obnoxious since they got C.J. Stroud and Tank Dell.
Well, that's what kills me is they try to tell me that C.J. Stroud is better than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence took a poverty-stricken team is what we felt like when he got here.
Yes.
Okay. With a coach that's not even a coach. His next year we go to the playoffs, dude. And he has the biggest playoff comeback in history. C.J. Stroud walked into a coaching overhaul, which I got to say, I will give you guys this. DeMeco Ryans, you nailed it. Great guy, he was perfect for you guys. He does well for you guys. He's a great coach. He's going to be great for a long time. I think C.J. Stroud just walked into the best situation that he possibly could have. I think that's why we saw instant success from him. But then you also saw what they don't ever like to talk about is when people started figuring him out. He started to get figured out towards the end of the season, and he really didn't do shit for y'all. I mean, look what happened in Baltimore. Baltimore picked him apart, and they picked the whole team apart. They picked the whole team apart. Now, that's not to say they didn't pick us apart. They also did that. What I'm just saying, though, you can't sit back and say, oh, he's the greatest quarterback in the AFC or even in the AFC South. First of all, if you really want to look at it, C.J. Stroud has a pretty deep ball, but he's only ever thrown it to people that were wide open. Let's just make that clear. I've never seen CJ Stroud put a ball right over the shoulder in the breadbasket in the back of the end zone consistently. Trevor Lawrence does that like it's his only job that he gets paid to do. Okay. Let's just be clear about who QB1 is in the AFC South. Let's just get that established now. Because Trevor Lawrence is that guy. He's going to stay that guy. And until you guys at least make it to the AFC conference game, we are that guy. You are always the little brother. Stay at the bottom where you belong.
Don't hold back, Trevor. Don't hold back.
He's really, yeah. Maybe take the cuffs off, Trevor. Take the cuffs off, okay? You really just let them know what you feel.
I got to give the Titans fans this credit, and this is the only credit I'll give them. They recognized when they became dog shit, okay? They did what we did. They took their shit on the chin. A lot of them did. They really did. They took it on the chin, and they accepted that they sucked. They still talk shit to us because they're one of our rivals. They're supposed to. But they still took it on the chin that they knew they were fucking bad. The Texans have had nothing but excuses for like 10 years of why they're bad, okay? And then, not to mention, they get the number one pick. He becomes a stud. He is a stud. I will give CJ Stroud that. He's a stud. He's a great quarterback. I just think that you guys are claiming him to be the holy messiah until the sophomore year comes. And the sophomore year blues are going to hit this guy like a Mack truck.
Hold on. Let's slow down here. One thing I want to say about that. They were the number 2 pick when they got CJ Stroud.
Oh, it was the number 2. He went behind Bryce Young.
No. I'm not. No. That's not what I'm getting at here. If the Panthers would have done the right thing and took CJ Stroud, the Texans would. The Panthers saved the Texans from picking Bryce Young. Because if CJ Stroud gets picked at number 1, the Texans are absolutely taking Bryce Young at 2. And they are automatically a poverty franchise with Bryce Young. Bryce Young's terrible. So they should make sure that all of Texans fans should be sending Panthers GMs and coaches Easter baskets.
Thank you cards.
And thanking them. Yep. But, also something else.
I completely slipped that.
No, you're good. No, something else too. Even whenever Tank Dell was wide open over the middle of the field, CJ Stroud underthrew him a couple of times whenever he was wide open at the break. Against Jacksonville, he almost dropped Tank Dell made an absolutely beautiful play between our safety and a corner after he got burnt because they had time to catch up to him because CJ Stroud threw it behind him whenever he could have walked him into the end zone for 40 yards out.
Yeah, he's done that consistently also.
Yeah.
And the number 1 pick. Sorry, guys. I had to mention our quarterback one time. Sorry.
I will say, I think CJ Stroud is a really good quarterback, and he could be an elite quarterback in the NFL. I don't think last year is indicative of that just yet. I think that it's indicative that he could and he potentially will be an elite quarterback in the NFL. I said it last year when I was getting dogged on by all the dudes on the show, and everybody else were saying CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in the draft class and that he was going to the Texans, and the Texans were going to love him and he's going to be a great quarterback. I got dogged on for saying it. Don't give a fuck. You're all wrong. I'm right. It happens all the time. It's fine. So CJ Stroud is not better than Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But I will say, I'm going to be realistic on this. Could CJ Stroud be better in his career if Jacksonville continues to not build around Trevor like the Texans are clearly doing for CJ Stroud? Absolutely. That's from a team standpoint. That's not from a ceiling floor standpoint.
Right. I was about to say, because ceiling Trevor Lawrence is up here. CJ Stroud's like here. But the problem
CJ Stroud's
organizations like here, and the Texans are here.
CJ Stroud, he's an elite talent. Absolutely.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence is a better talent, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, he should be. But he went to a worse building organization. I think that's going to change this year. I think that Balky, again, I've talked about this. I think Balky is going to take more control and let Doug and his staff have less say. I think he's going to let the scouts be scouts and the coaches be coaches. I think he's going to have a better draft this year because he even got caught at the combine saying, you can't teach physical. Guys are either born physical or they're not. You can't make not physical guys physical. Yes. I think that Luke Fortner was a Doug pick and that staff. I don't think the scouts wanted him. I don't think anybody. I think there were, Brenton Strange. Brenton Strange is a nasty blocker. I'll give it to him. My light was just like flashing on and off. I don't know what that was all about. Ghost, come get me, but I'm doing a show. So we got, see, Brenton Strange, I'm still out on him. I don't think he got enough of a chance last year. I think Tank Bigsby didn't get enough of a chance last year. But I think Balky's going to change his ways this year. It was funny. I was watching Tony Wiggins earlier, Locked on Jags. I'll always shout out Tony Wiggins. There's other channels I won't shout out. He's one I will. Love Tony Wiggins. Great dude. Wish nothing but the best for him in his career, everything that he does. He mentioned, he was like, let's look at the number 17 pick. and it's going to kind of get into the draft, and we'll get back on topic. So I'm taking us off topic here. The 17 pick, he was only going to go back 5 or 6 years, and he noticed something. In 2015, can you tell me who was the number 17 pick in the NFL draft?
Yeah, no.
That's
Eric
the problem.
Armstead.
Yeah. Well,
Eric Armstead.
Ah.
You know who else was a number 17 pick?
Who?
CeeDee Lamb.
Wow.
Justin Jefferson was the bottom half of the top round pick.
Yeah, I did know that one. And I knew CD was out. I knew CD fell out of the top 10. I did know that also. I just didn't realize it was 17.
Dalton Kincaid was a bottom 32 pick last year. Cyrus Torrance fell to the second round or late first. I mean, you know, I am fully of the opinion we either stay put or we trade back. I do not think we should make a move to move up and trade up. I think that the amount of capital it would take us to move up would, in fact, completely ruin we need to get more physical trained, because then you have less picks to make your team more physical with younger guys.
And I think that's what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, was like we all agreed on that topic, was like we should not move forward. It would take way more than it's worth.
Absolutely. Right. So, you know, I keep on seeing these trades, us moving up to 9 or 7 and, you know, trying to get a Dunze or trying to get Neighbors or trying to get these guys. I think we stay put. We draft best player available, whether it be a tackle, whether it be a center, whether it be, you know, wide receiver, whoever's the best player there. If it's Jared Versus sitting there, you know, I don't care. Let's go out and get somebody. Let's get the best player in the draft.
Hey, now stop talking regulars now. Hey.
Anyways, I know you're a big Florida State Glazer. It's all right. Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
there it is.
Yep.
You know,
trading them plain donut and glazing them all over. It's fine. So, anyways, let's just, you know, it's my thing is let's get the best player available. You know, at this point, I don't think we need to overextend. If Terrion Arnold is there, pick him. If you know, if Nate Wiggins is there, pick him. If Jerzon Newton's there, pick him. Get somebody that is a great player that is going to benefit this team. Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's not trade draft picks that we could potentially use for the future to make this team nasty. Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's just go ahead and get a guy at 17 or move back maybe to 20 or so. Get a couple extra picks, do what we need to do. But, you know, I don't think we need to overcomplicate this. We just need to take the best player available and move on.
I think you're absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Texans. Anything else you want to talk about with the Texans?
Fuck you guys.
Yeah. I will say, though, they just better hope that Joe Mixon continues to miss his shots or he's actually going to go to jail next time. And then he won't be able to play at all for him. So, worst shooter in Texans history.
What they better hope is that their offensive line makes holes, because Joe Mixon ain't going to keep taking beatings.
No. Joe Mixon does not scare me at all. I'm sorry. He doesn't.
Because he didn't hurt us in Cincy. Jake Browning did.
The only thing that happened, the only thing he did in Cincy is what Derrick Henry's done to us the past couple of years. Hasn't ran that well against us, but they get inside the goal line and they hand it to him at the 2-yard line. He scored the touchdown. So his touchdown numbers are inflated, but he doesn't really get that many yards on us.
Right.
You know, I'm not scared of him at all. Let's move on to, I'll say the Titans, because I feel like the Colts really didn't do much in free agency, so I can't really give them anything. I don't think the Titans did good, but I think the Colts did less than they did, and I think they get a worse grade. But, you know, Titans, out of the new pickups, out of the new additions, who scares y'all the most? Is there anyone that scares you at all? Do you think the Titans are just going to continue to be poverty like we know they will be? What's the take on the Titans offseason?
Who the hell did they pick up?
That's McCarthy.
That's right. Aaron, get them.
Really? Who did they pick up? Okay, they got Snead. Right? Ooh, scary.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, ran him over, and he'll do it again.
Big shoulder, baby. Boom. I love that, too.
You know, you get rid of Derrick Henry, who definitely still has some gas in the tank, right? And then you bring in Pollard. Really? Where's the logic in that? Where's the logic in that?
And they were giving what's his face, Tajay Spears, all these touches, and all they've done is proven that they don't believe Tajay Spears can get it done.
Right. You had the basically perfect 1-2 monster right there. Henry pounding, Spears coming around with the speed. You had it. But no, you wants to get rid of Henry. Okay, thank you. As a Jag fan, I'm going to say thank you very much. Because
Absolutely.
Henry was a damn nightmare. He was a nightmare.
Well,
He's the only thing that's kept them competitive in the division for years. Only
that's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, but fuck you, because you let him go to the Ravens.
Right. Yeah, then that really made sense. And all the people to let him go to the Ravens. Really, y'all?
You should have sent his ass to the NFC. You should have made sure he went to the NFC. Because now the Ravens have the scariest fucking option play in the history of the NFL. Okay?
Yeah,
they're going to be insane to defend on the option.
And they got, let's see, failed quarterback Chidobe Awuzie. What's up? Chidobe Awuzie?
Oh, okay. Can't even pronounce his name.
Next.
Yeah, who's next?
Linebacker bust of the century, Kenneth Murray. Chargers didn't even keep him for his full for his full contract. I think the only good signing they had. I mean, I wouldn't say that Tony Pollard's a bad signing. I would just say it doesn't make sense for what they already have in Tajay Spears. They're basically the same player.
Right.
Lloyd Cushenberry was a good signing. I was high on Lloyd Cushenberry. He's probably the only one I'll give him is I'm not scared of Lloyd Cushenberry, but if I had to pick the scariest one, it's definitely not Calvin can't catch a ball Ridley. It's going to be Lloyd Cushenberry in the center of the line. They kind of just had a terrible free agency. They did the same thing they did last year, and they signed a bunch of guys that nobody wanted.
Now, let's be honest. Who is the quarterback? Who's the quarterback?
I'll say the same thing I said last time because it ain't Mayo.
Okay. Like I said, who is the quarterback?
I get more scared. When my old lady tells me she went shopping. Okay, I get more scared to see the film.
Right. That's a fear every man should have.
Hey, but all I'm really saying is it's like we were talking about earlier. I said the same thing earlier, and it's crazy because the Titans fans are really delusional right now, though. They're coming back around to be one of my most hated, to be my most hated. They're really trying. They're really trying to get it back because they're like, oh, we signed this player, and this player. Yeah, but you're forgetting that you were complete dog shit last year. You were absolute dog shit. We sold the game ourselves. It's still on us. You did take us out of playoff contention. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You played one good game the whole damn season, okay? Because we whipped you like we fucking owned you when you came to Jacksonville. So remember that, and remember that very well, okay? That being said, remember also that you were terrible, completely terrible. You had more holes than a ship that just went through war, okay? You're literally, and you're still not even close to complete. All you did was overpay an older receiver that has shown consistency issues. You brought in a running back that gets busted the hell up behind one of the best offensive lines in the league. And to let him replace the best running back in the league, still, in my opinion, I don't think there's still a running back that's better than Derrick Henry. You're not, show me one. Don't get me wrong. He can't take the load management anymore, but show me one. Literally. And that being said, you move on from that. You go on to the other side. The Chiefs fleeced the shit out of you for L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
And what else did you do? Cushenberry? So you brought one guy?
Yeah.
He still did better than the Colts.
Well, yeah. Well, we're not there yet. We're not even talking about those. Those guys are the dumbest. Those are my dumbest fans. Okay. Now the Titans were my most hated. The Texans are now my most hated. But the Colts are the dumbest. Okay. But to get back to the Titans really quickly, I do have to say, though, and you're also stupid for getting rid of Vrabel. What the hell was wrong with you? What in the actual fuck? First of all, in Vrabel's history there, he was one of the few bright spots you had. You can't blame the guy for a poverty-stricken roster. I mean, and he still made some stuff work, even with that. So
I knew as soon as they brought in Rand Carthen that Vrabel had one more season and he was gone.
Yep. But you think about this though, all you did was bring your team back to mediocrity.
Did they even do that?
And hold on. I was about to say that's the ceiling. That's your ceiling. Your ceiling is mediocrity because when you come to Duval, we're still going to whip your ass like a redheaded stepchild. And then we're going to come to your house and we're also going to whip your ass like a redheaded stepchild. So just know that.
It's going to be a quiet night in Music City for a couple of years every time we come to town.
Hey, and you know what? Hell, I'm down. Let's buy tickets, boys. Let's go. I would love to be in the stadium and tell them they're terrible.
Yeah, anything else that we would? I mean, you have anybody to talk about, Eric? I mean, what are we even talking about here?
I guess we didn't talk about nobody. And to piggyback on what Trevor say, we got film, people. We have film again. Okay.
Like, first of all, your biggest weapon that you signed, quote unquote weapon, came from us, dude. Yeah, we know how he fucking plays. We know what to do with him. Like, I mean,
our corners might as well sit down on the ground and just let him drop it in the end zone. You know, like what?
Yeah, they know he's not going to do it
here.
Yeah, they're not stressing.
We hear about Trayvon Burks for the last 2-3 years now, and we still don't know who this guy is. So, yeah, have fun, Tennessee. Yeah. Have fun.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about the last disappointment. The Colts. The only two people they signed in free agency, Raekwon Davis to a 2-year, $14 million deal. D tackle. I think he came from the Dolphins, maybe. I don't know. Joe Flacco, 1 year, $8.7 million.
Oh, I've got some stuff on that one. That's some stuff.
So just before we get into that, because of course, my bad. Go ahead.
Flacco may be their best signing.
He probably is, honestly. Let's see. We got, the Colts really shine in the extensions and re-signings, if we're being honest here. I will say the best contract that they gave to a player re-signing was Zaire Franklin. 3 years, $31.26 million. I will say, I hate the Colts. Zaire Franklin is a great player. He's a great linebacker in the league. He's a top 5 linebacker in the league, in my opinion, right now. Led the league in tackles, beat out Fourier by a little bit. 3 years, $31.26 million. I mean, that's right over $10 million a season. You can't be mad at that for a guy of that caliber. We paid a lot more for Fourier. We even paid Fourier more on the extension, I believe. You can't be mad about that whatsoever. That's a great deal. Zaire Franklin is definitely a homer. He wants to stay in Indy and play for that team. He took a pay cut basically than what he could have gotten somewhere else. So I will give them that. That's a great signing. Michael Pittman, 3 years, $71.5 million. Trash. You're talking about a dude who is 6'4" and is the worst red zone target in the league. I said it in our chat with all the other guys. You're basically better off putting a cancer kid out in the X position, letting him run routes in the red zone. Because for the past 2 seasons, he's had almost 1,000 or over 1,000 yards, and he has 4 touchdowns on the season, 2 of which came in the Jacksonville game. So in 16 games, you have 2 touchdowns, and you're 6'4", 223 pounds. He may be the worst red zone target we've ever seen in league history. Tyquan Lewis, never heard of him. Grover Stewart, 3 years, $39 million. I mean, Stewart's pretty good, but I mean, he's not good enough for me to want to re-sign him for that much money. Rigoberto Sanchez, 3 years, $7.5 million, punter, whatever. Kenny Moore, 3 years, $30 million. I mean, I wouldn't put Kenny Moore very high on my list for corners, but I guess $10 million a season is not bad for a corner. Everybody's favorite safety / linebacker, Ronnie Harrison. Another one Jags trash is another Colts treasure. Trey Sermon, $1 million. Trent Baalke's trash is another man's treasure. Taven Bryan, 1 year, $22.25 million. One Jags trash is another man's treasure. Julian Blackman trash. Danny Pinter trash. They really didn't do shit. Joe Flacco, definitely their best signing in the free agency out of the 2. And Zaire Franklin, I'll give him that one. That was a great contract. But I'm not scared of Raekwon Davis or Joe Flacco, so I don't really know what to talk about here.
I can say that their 2 big signings, okay, were to replace people that they fucking fumbled, okay? Because I'm trying to remember the man's name, and it's leaving me right now. Who's the edge rusher they just lost? They didn't even lose him. They just didn't re-sign him. They released him.
Edge rusher.
Yeah, or I think it was an edge rusher. It might have been a linebacker.
Linebacker.
But
Leonard
linebacker.
was
Leonard.
Oh, Darius
Shaquille-
Leonard. Oh,
Or
he's
Darius,
bad.
Darius Leonard. Yeah. Darius Leonard was a consistent playmaker for them, along with Zaire.
No, he sucked the past 2 years
Did he really?
because he
Because I
kept
know
getting
that when
hurt.
we played him, which is the only game I watched. I will give this credit. The only game I watched when we played him, he was making moves when we played. But okay, if he sucked, he sucked. But I mean, so you signed Zaire Franklin, great contract, can't hate on that. You signed Joe Flacco to release, like, because you didn't sign Joe Flacco until you lost Gardner. You should have fucking paid Gardner Minshew. Because it's the only reason that you had any type of chance throughout the last season. And in case you guys forgot, your quarterback's made of glass. Okay? He is literally made of glass because his injury in the NFL is not his first. He got destroyed at Florida, and it will happen again in the NFL consistently. Okay? It was his biggest knock in college was his vulnerability.
Right.
I mean,
Talk about that.
He's made of glass.
Yep.
Made of glass. And that being said, I mean, Michael Pittman Jr., yeah, like you said, he's literally the Make-A-Wish kid that fucked around and stuck. Like, somebody just let this man put on pads and catch a couple footballs, and they're just like, hey, I mean, he does better than who else we got. We might as well let him stick around, you know? Like, he's a nobody. Their offense has nobody, but that's it. They got nobody.
Oh, well, they gave Jonathan Taylor that huge contract to not be good.
I was just about to say, you repaid Jonathan Taylor to still give your second stringer more touches than him.
Well, yeah, which Zach Moss was number 1 in the league through like week 5 until Jonathan Taylor came back, and then they paid him all that money. Like, why?
Right.
You just should have got rid of Jonathan Taylor and stuck it out with Zach Moss.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah.
And then picking up all our trash. If we're so bad, why the fuck do you want all the players that couldn't even make our team?
Dude, that's the whole AFC South. Like, everybody signs our players that we don't want anymore.
But then for some reason, they sometimes turn into studs.
Sometimes.
Depending on who they go play
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chad Henne is a multi-time Super Bowl champion now.
Yeah. Not Jonathan Taylor. Our right guard, they will let go.
Jawan Taylor is a Super Bowl champion now.
You know?
Jawan Taylor's hot dog shit, and I'm glad we got rid of him. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. Get him the fuck out of here. I hated Jawan Taylor, that false starting bitch. Oh,
he got benched in the game versus us this past season. He had 7 false starts, and they benched him for a little bit. Not to mention, conspiracy time. I wish I had a tinfoil hat to put on here. The Chiefs were the number 1 team in holdings this season, and then in their entire playoff run, were not called for holding a single time.
Not even once.
That has happened for all of their Super Bowl runs. They've never been called for holding.
And they definitely are, because I remember for a fact, watching.
They've got Jawan Taylor. Enough said.
Yeah. Oh, he's a holding.
He's a holding machine. Like, yeah, I know. Tinfoil hat off, rant over, but ain't no way.
Protection.
Look, and I will say this because the league is about money. It's a business. It always has been. The league makes more money the more time guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes have to throw in the pocket or to leave the pocket, make an off-schedule throw. The league makes more money the more they get to do that. So especially during the playoffs when it's really money time, they're going to let those guys get as much time as humanly possible as long as it's not completely egregious and out there. And even sometimes they let that go. They're going to give them as much time as they can get to throw a football or make a play because they make more money when those guys have time to throw.
Speaking of money moves, Miles Jack went down.
Yeah, absolutely not. But we're just not the moneymaker team. Yeah.
And AJ Bouye did not commit pass interference. Fuck you, Tom Brady.
Well, they got like 40 or 50 yards in penalties on that drive to put them on our side of the 50 for the first time that game. I mind you.
Thank you.
For the first time all season that AJ Bouye was ever called for a PI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He was supposed. You mean to tell me he didn't get cooked by nobody else, but supposedly getting cooked by no one?
Yeah, the worst wide receiver core in the NFL.
Hey,
the only guy they had left was Julian Edelman
And Gronk.
But I mean,
who got knocked the fuck out by Barry Church over the middle.
Oh yeah, he's a boom. What? Sit your ass
Yeah,
down.
and the fact that he got to come back in that game, Whenever he literally got up and was like cross-eyed and fucked up, like not in today's NFL.
Speaking of that, by the way, that's another reason that Trevor Lawrence is better and CJ Stroud's bitch made, because concussion protocol can eat a dick. Trevor Lawrence said, "Fuck you, I'm back in 2 weeks, bitch." CJ Stroud sat for like a month.
Everything in him might not come back.
Fuck you, Texans fans. Fuck you. Our guys built different. Eat a wiener. They were so pissed too. I remember seeing in the battleground chat too, they were all bitching the whole time that Trevor said he was ready. He was game ready. And then he came out, and I'll be honest with you, he did not play his best game, but he was still throwing dots. The problem was protection got worse. Like, it got worse when he came back. You'd think that they would want to stiffen it the fuck up. You think that the offensive line would feel a little bit inspired to kind of maybe protect our boy. No, they just got the fuck out of the way. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, but that being said, just another chance to say fuck you, Texans.
Breathe, Trevor, breathe.
Okay, the Texans fans can't hurt you anymore. Okay, they're not here right now.
What Texans Super Bowl isn't real. It can't hurt you.
Well, what else? What else we got before we wrap this thing up?
Hey, here's something I ran across. The referees will explicitly cite the replay assistant when a replay is called for starting this season. NFL Competition Committee Chairman Rich McKay said the referee will give a detailed explanation of the ruling changes after consulting the replay assistant. Now, that's interesting right there. So if they go to the replay assistant and the replay assistant give them whatever, yay and nay, they're supposed to come back and explain it to the fan why this is a penalty and why it's not, or why the flag got picked up. How do y'all feel about it?
And this is a little bit off topic, but it's on topic at the same time. I watch a lot of the Rich Eisen show. I think Rich Eisen is a media personality that is pretty even kilter for the most part. He really says his opinion. I feel like he's one of the unfiltered guys out there that doesn't get like paid to just say things and talking points. Okay. He said this last year and the year before. He's been saying it for a couple of years. We literally have something called Eagle Eye, where they can watch every angle of every play from the above view, side view, end zone camera. We have a multi-billion-dollar video system watching the game at any point in time that can see every angle possible from somewhere or something. You cannot tell me that they cannot have 3 or 4 officials also off in like a video room somewhere watching every play and saying, "Hey, pick that flag up," or "Hey, no, actually it's this," or you can't tell me they don't have the resources to be able to do that, because Gene Steratore can't sit there and watch 32 monitors and say what was a good call and what wasn't, and they're not listening to Gene Steratore on the field. You can't tell me we have this system, but I do, I'm thinking I do like that they're going to actually give a detailed explanation for why it was called. I think it puts a little more accountability on them, because then if they're like, oh, well, the player grabbed his face mask and pulled him to the ground and blah, 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 and then you look at the video and the dude grabbed his ankle and tripped him. I mean, there's no hiding from that. That it's obvious. It's there. They can't hide that. But there are definitely going to be some things where they explain one thing and another thing happened, and they're just going to have us deal with it, and they're not going to go any further with it. I like the idea if the refs follow it and do it the right way.
What about you, Trey?
I think that I think it's just a false sense of accountability. Really, what it is. I think it was just something chucked at us fans to make us stop bitching about how terrible the reffing is. Because you're absolutely right. They could absolutely have a crew in a room watching the game also from Eagle Eye to verify these calls, such as the one against Jawan Taylor in the overtime game on Monday Night Football last season, where he clearly was not holding. There was no sense. It was not even close to holding.
Anton Harrison, not Jawan Taylor.
Or Anton Harrison. Sorry.
You're still enraged. I get it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You calm down, Trevor. Jawan Taylor can't hurt you anymore. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. He's not a fucking jag. Get that faggot out of here. I hate that guy, dude. He pisses me the fuck off, dude. He's so bad. Damn it, man. He makes me upset.
Right. We're talking about Anton Harrison now. Eagle Eye, the refs,
replays.
Love
Anton Harrison, and I think with Eagle Eye, there's no way. I think with Eagle Eye being a thing, I think there's no way that we should be missing these calls anymore. It shouldn't be possible, but it is. So that tells me it's on purpose. There's a reason. There's a point. They're doing it for a storyline, a headline, because at the end of the day, like we've already said, this is a business. that being said, I think all they're going to do is just give us their bullshit reason. The only difference between then and now is we have to listen to them talk about it more to piss us off even more when we know they're dead ass wrong. I think that's really all it is. It's just forcing us to listen to them feed us a line of horse shit. Because like when they even said holding on 77, the big screen, I mean, for the period of time they were the largest screens in the NFL, showed everyone no hold. Why was that not called back? Why was that not changed? I mean, because at the end of the day, if you really want accountability, it would have been changed. That's accountability. But we don't have that. So I think this is just a hush thing thrown at us fans, trying to make us think that they're really trying, but they're not. They're not, because they could easily fix this, but they won't.
Right.
But before we wrap it up, one thing I do want to say, I don't think we spoke about it because it happened right after the last show when I said I think Balky's chilling, and one of you guys said I don't think he'll do anything else into the draft, and I did at the time. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And the very next day, we extended Foyer.
Yeah.
Very next day, we extended Foyer. And I do think that we need to talk about that because we haven't talked about that on the pod yet. We didn't discuss Foyer's extension. Me personally, I love it. Foyer is one of our captains on defense. I think Josh Allen's the captain of our line. I think Foyer is an absolute necessity in Jacksonville. I think it would be as dumb as a decision as it was to let Calais Campbell leave. If we let him go, I think restructuring him, also lowering our cap hit all the way around the board, it was a beautiful play on Balky's part. And I'm very glad to see Foyer back in Jacksonville for 3 more years.
I agree 255% because Foyer is a beast. I love him, man. I love him as a linebacker because he gets there, man. And yeah, great leader. You know, I'm glad he got his touchdown last year against New Orleans. Was it New Orleans he got the touchdown? Yeah.
Against New Orleans, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. I think Balky finally has learned a little bit from all the screw-ups. Like you say, maybe he is taking more control of the situation now. But yeah, that was good. Very good.
Yeah, I think
you can't teach physical.
Yeah, I think that the Mitch Morse signing and the Foyer extension are kind of him admitting that Muma and Fortner were not the players he thought they were, or the players that the coaching staff wanted in the building. Because again, originally I think you don't draft the guy in the first round and the guy in the third round unless you plan on replacing the guy you just signed for more money than he was worth whenever he came in. So I think, he's kind of correcting some mistakes. I think he's changing some stuff up, and the cap savings is huge. Definitely going to help us out.
Yes.
Great move all the way around. Good move, Balky.
What? No more clown suits and stuff? Remember that? The clown head?
They're still going to do it. Everybody was up in fucking flames whenever Stephon Diggs got traded. Oh, we could have done that, or we should have gave them what they wanted for Ayuk and blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, shut up. Like, who cares?
The Ayuk trade would have been absolutely idiots.
Yes.
Idiocracy. It'd have been insane.
Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we would have made that move because we had to pay the Jags tax, But now, no, we don't have to make that kind of move and just forfeit, the franchise for this guy here he's still proving himself anyway. I don't think he's a number 1 receiver. I really don't. Yes, he makes some big plays, but he wasn't worth what they were asking. I'm sorry. No.
Absolutely right.
No.
I do think, though, that we could have made that trade for Stephon just as easily.
No.
I think we could have made it just as easily.
Oh,
I'm not saying necessarily that it would have been right for us. I just think that's when you see fans that see somebody that's had star power and they think that will just translate anywhere, and it doesn't. That's not how it works. And unfortunately, in my opinion, I think Stephon Diggs has lost his star power. And in my opinion, I haven't.
But
I can't remember the last time I seen a highlight reel of Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, they let him go for a 5th and a 6th round draft pick. Right?
That's very telling of a team that he was one of their game changers. That's very telling of a player.
Yes. So they were ready for him to leave anyway. So they basically gave him away. Hey,
for a bag of Fritos.
Yeah. Hey, y'all can have him. Go ahead. Let's make it look like we asked for something, but yeah, y'all really can have him. We ain't gonna really worry about it.
Yeah, actually, the only reason we're worried about that pick y'all gave us is because we got to take something in return, NFL rules, But otherwise,
yeah,
we'll help you back.
They just got something in return. They could have just released him, and he probably would have ended up in Houston if anybody would have went after him. I think it's more his attitude and his antics that teams now just don't want to deal with.
It just shows that they were definitely more confident in the fact that they could replace him in the second round.
Right.
Which is crazy to think because these high-level wide receivers, we know they're going to be gone mostly in the first round because these guys are insanely good. So that being said, they were still confident in like the second levels of this wide receiver class to be better than him.
Yeah.
Which is why I think if we do in the first round knock a home run with like a Brian Thomas Jr., a Neighbors if he were to fall, an Odunze if he were to fall, or Xavier Leggett or any of those guys, we've already got a better receiving core like that.
Johnny Wilson, baby. Oh!
I can't ride with you on that one. I wouldn't mind seeing him if we found him in like the third or fourth round, but definitely.
Yeah. I'd be like this on that one myself. Like, okay, y'all, no, this wasn't the move at this time.
I would throw up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd still be upset if we took Keon Coleman at 17. I mean,
at 17? Hell
no. No, I think because a Brian Thomas Jr. and guys of his stature will still be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a second round receiver. He's not going first round. If he does, the team's reaching for him.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
I don't see it, but we'll see. Never know. So people get desperate. People pick players earlier than they should be just because that's who they want. And they don't want to have to take a chance on hoping he's there at their next pick. It happens.
Right.
But yeah. Anything else, gentlemen, before we call it a day?
I think it's a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to go and calm down a little bit now.
Yeah, we gotta go let Trevor take an ice bath or something. All right, boys. Thanks for coming on. Another great episode. Thanks again for coming on, making this possible. Go Jags as always. It's crazy. We got all these teams making these money moves. Well, really, only the Texans are making money moves. The rest of them are making snail moves, just sitting where they are, getting worse. A lot of money to be second in the division. Wouldn't know what that's like. So go Jags. Have a good night, gentlemen. Thank you for watching. If you're a returning individual, if you're new to the show, thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching. Yeah, let's wrap it up here, boys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
All right. Duval!
There it is, baby. Yeah, y'all see my background here. I'm all Duval, baby. Trayvon Walker, player of the offseason for me. 15 sacks this year. You can count it. I'm saying it right now.
All right.
Hey, go big or go home. Have a good one.